Hello and welcome into White House Field here in Harwich, Massachusetts. A cool night at the ballpark, hovering around 70 degrees. Tonight's matchup will feature the hometown Harwich Mariners taking on the Cotuit Kettleers. For the two clubs, it's kind of been a tale of two tapes, with Cotuit sitting atop the West and Harwich struggling to stay afloat in fourth place of the East. Game one between the two at Lowell Park was a 4-2 Harwich win, the first loss of Cotuit for the season. And the Mariners would love to claim another upset here at home. Hi, everybody, and welcome into Al Graver Press Box. My name is Devin Dobek, and I am joined by my partner, Tim Foley. Well, Tim, Sean Sullivan back on the hill for the M's tonight. Do we think he can be as successful as he was when he pitched the first time out at Lowell Park?
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I think it's interesting. You always talk about how much better a lineup fares whenever you face off against a pitcher for the second time around in a single game, let alone in an entirely another game. So Cotuit, their second time seeing Sullivan, but Sullivan, if he's able to go out there and pitch as he's able to, then he should be set up for success here tonight.
He's up in the count to Tommy Troy, 0-1. Tommy at second base tonight, quickly 0-2. Sullivan pitched 6 innings in that first game against Cotuit, the longest start by a Mariner this season. Allowed just 1 run on 3 hits and walked 1 while striking out 6. And it's good morning, good afternoon, and good night to start the ball game. Sean Sullivan, a 3-pitch strikeout, and down goes Troy.
Yeah, wow. Just unbelievable what Sullivan's able to do to open up the ball game there is he just blows 3 right by him, right about the high 80s, swinging.
And we'll take you through the Cotuit lineup. Leading off, as you just saw, the second baseman Tommy Troy, batting second the right fielder Eddie Park, batting third the first baseman Brooks Baldwin, batting cleanup the designated hitter Carter Trice, batting fifth the left fielder Zach Cole, batting sixth the third baseman Kyle Karros, batting seventh the center fielder Victor Scott II, batting eighth the shortstop Ryan Ritter, and rounding out Coach Roberts' 9 is the catcher Caleb Lomavita. 2-0 to Eddie Park. Sullivan kicks, delivers, blew it right by him. It's 2-1. Mariners in the Friday night red jerseys with the camo text across the front and camo numbers on the back. Camo hats. Still wearing the cream pants with blue socks showing. Cotuit in their road maroons that say Cotuit across the front in navy. As that one just misses, a 5-pitch walk to put Eddie Park on.
Yeah, Sullivan went with 2 off-speed pitches to open up the at-bat, and as they both missed outside with no offering from Park, fell behind pretty early there. Tough to try to come back in the count for him, and so ends up walking his second batter of the game.
Brings up Brooks Baldwin, and what a season he's had thus far. Leads the CCBL in hits with 22, at-bats with 64, RBIs with 13, sac flies with 3, and stolen bases with 10. Just a threat on just about every level of offense. Fouls that first pitch off. First strike 1. Brooks going to be playing over at first base tonight. He's been holding that down for Coach Roberts most of the season. Had a slow night against Harwich. Back in the first battle at Lowell Park as Sullivan looks to pick off Eddie Park, but he's back in there. Count is 0-1. To Baldwin. Baldwin from UNC Wilmington as the runner was in motion there. 0-2 the count. From Whiteville, North Carolina, is hitting .344 on the season.
And he's a guy who was a big piece for Cotuit last season as well. Batted .239. Helped them to make a run to the West Division Championship Series, one of just 4 teams to make the playoffs.
No balls, 2 strikes from the Wake Forest lefty. And Baldwin chops this one over to third base. That'll be Pauly there to field it on to first. Not in time. It's an infield single for Brooks Baldwin. He picks up yet another hit, bring his total to 23. Graham Pauly getting the start over at third base, and we'll take you through the Harwich defense here tonight. A lot of changes compared to usual. In left field is Chris Newell. In center field, Cole Harding. In right field, Press Kavanaugh. And then at third base is Graham Pauly. Nick Goodwin, one of the few constants at short. David Smith at second. Hunter Stokely at first with Matt Gussetti doing the catching for Sullivan. Runners on first and second for the cleanup hitter and Carter Trice, designated hitter for the ball club.
Notable here for the Mariners is that Tommy Seidel not in the lineup here tonight. He's been excellent for Harwich this season. This is the first game he's not appeared in since the second game of the doubleheader against Hyannis over a week ago.
1-0 misses down low, and also Kenny Lavari out of the lineup today. He lost his on-base streak last night in an 0-for performance. I'm sure that's not why he was benched, but trying to get a lot of the new guys some time in the field, get them accustomed.
Yeah, and this is the first game that Lavari's missed since the last time the Mariners played Cotuit, so it's been a week exactly.
2-0 is fouled off, makes it 2-1.
Yeah, a lot of pressure early here against Sullivan. He's had a couple of things just not go his way, missed a couple of close pitches in the at-bat that put Park on, and then a very close play over at first for Baldwin to get on. So he has to like the way he's pitching so far, but it's just been tight.
So that one in there to even it up at 2. And for Sullivan on the season, has a 1.03 ERA. This is his 4th appearance, 2nd start across 8 2/3 innings. He has 10 strikeouts to just 1 walk, now 2, and 5 hits he's surrendered. 2-2 is popped foul off to the right, and will stay there.
Yeah, and he was just really impressive his last time out. I know we talked about it, he got the win, but just to see him mow guys down, it was unbelievable. I believe he set down at least the first 9. Everybody threw the order the first time. Last time these two teams played, the first 3 innings only took 30 minutes.
Yeah, that was something else.
He almost got whiplash.
Looks like we're not going to have that same feat here today. But no, it was incredible to say the least. This one is looped into shallow left field. Charging in is Newell. Back out there to get it is Goodwin. He comes away with it for out number 2.
And just to talk about the outfield again, you talk about Newell coming in, even though Goodwin made the catch. I think with Seidel out, it's going to be press out in right today. Newell out on left, and then Harding's finally back to center. Hasn't actually been there in quite some time for the Mariners. Ever since Chris Newell came into town, he had been anchoring down center field, really. So should be interesting to see all the guys kind of in different spots here today. Of course, Harding back in center, but Newell generally left field here for Harwich, Kavanaugh usually left field, and Newell generally center.
Has been that way, but Coach Engler's shaking it up. His team on a 4-game skid. They've lost 9 of their last 12. And he figures, you know what? It won't hurt to make any changes. We can only go up from here. Just about rock bottom's where the Mariners at. 0-1. Chopped. And picked up foul by Gassetti. Makes it 0-2.
And all those guys in the outfield have really been solid defensively all season long. So really no doubt that any of these guys are going to be able to have a fine day out in the outfield. Able to make the read. Even though it might be slightly different out there, these guys are well tested and certainly going to stand tall. The outfield's been one of the highlights for this Mariners team all season long defensively.
That misses outside, and to your point, Tim, generally speaking, errors are typically on the infielders and catcher. But with that fact aside, 12 of the 13 have come from the infield. Outfield's been great. Just one communication error with Groover and Teal, who are both gone. As that one right back up at us, and we stay at 1-2.
Yeah, I mean, that was really just about it. And that was, Kyle Teal kind of bouncing around left field, center field, catcher. So he had been really moving around. And so sometimes the hierarchy of communication is tough to navigate when you're bouncing around the field so often.
Still 1-2 to Zach Cole. Hitting. And he goes down swinging. Sean Sullivan, 2 strikeouts in the innings. He strands a couple, and we head to the bottom of the first. We'll take a quick break and be right back on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back. Devin Dobek, Tim Foley bringing you the action live from White House Field. As overcast night, but a good one for baseball. We'll take you through the Harwich Mariners starting 9, leading off the right fielder, Press Kavanaugh, batting second, the left fielder, Chris Newell. Batting third, the shortstop, Nick Goodwin. Batting cleanup, the designated hitter, Joe Vetrano. Batting fifth, the first baseman, Hunter Stokely. Batting sixth, the third baseman, Graham Polly. Batting seventh, the second baseman, David Smith. Matt Cassetti hits 8 and does the catching, while Cole Harding rounds out the 9 in center. Be Tyler Bosma taking the hill for the Cotuit Kettleers. He's made 3 appearances this summer. All of them have been starts. He's gone 11 innings complete, allowed 8 hits, 4 runs, but just 1 of which that were earned. 7 walks, 10 strikeouts, and a .81 ERA. This first pitch is grounded over to Troy, and he retires Press Kavanaugh. 1 pitch, 1 out to get things started for Bosma.
Saw that happen a couple times yesterday. 1 pitch, 1 out. Leadoff guy not getting on for Harwich. That's been a point of contention for this team, really, when you talk about the leadoff spot and what Harwich has been able to do from that position. Mariners on the season batting just 184 in the leadoff spot with 15 walks.
Yeah, not a patient team. They have just 43 walks on the season. That is the worst in the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cotuit sits at second with 68. And first pitch to Chris Newell's in there for a strike.
Yeah, you know, this is always going to be an aggressive Harwich team at the plate. But it really comes back to bite you sometimes when you just don't have many ways of getting on.
As Newell flips this one up and out of play. Jeff Merzel, the home plate umpire, firing that one back. He will be calling balls and strikes tonight. Mike Hinojosa at first base and Doug Isham at third base. 0-2. This is grounded, but over towards the hole. Gets under the dive of Troy and into center field. Chris Newell with the first hit for Harwich of the ball game, and they got a runner on first with 1 away.
There you go, if you're Newell. You're able to get a hit. That's his second straight game with a hit, Newell, as he's able to keep it swinging here for Harwich. So, nice job, able to get on base with 1 on, and even if Troy had gotten there, he really would have only cut it down. That was a ball that was hit really toward the gap there, back up the middle. That was deep in the hole.
And Newell a quick base runner, so it would have been a tough play on all cylinders. As 1 away here to Nick Goodwin. Comes the first pitch from Bosma, University of Kentucky product. It's 0-1 to the Kansas State Wildcat. Goodwin coming off a difficult night, did not reach base. It was really an all-around, tough night for the Harwich offense, and he's now even in the count 1-1, but his night goes 0 for 4, punches out a pair of times. He's got the team high 17, Tim, but he's also provided you some great offense, leads the team in home runs and up there, top 3 in batting average. Just an off night for him, and he'd like to get going when Harwich definitely could use a win.
Yeah, certainly. One of the few guys you could say you can really give a pass to when he has an off night, you know, with how much he produces otherwise. And so, you know, the fact that he's unable to produce, you know, is kind of amplified by the fact that him, along with the rest of the top of the order, top 3 batters in the order yesterday, went a collective 0 for 12 with 6 strikeouts.
Yeah, it was not their night, but the man on deck, Joe Vetrano, we'll get to in a second as they count 3-1 here to Nick Goodwin. He showed up, and he had a great ball game.
Certainly did. 3 hits for him. That was his season high.
And an extra base hit in there. 3 of the 4 Mariner hits as Goodwin cuts on that one and misses to load up the count. Chris Newell at first. Does not have a stolen base yet this season. And the payoff pitch coming from Bosma. He's going to go and try and pick off Newell. He airmails it over first base. Newell will round second, head into third, and he's going to be held up there by Coach Tebow. Wow, what a break for the Mariners. They really lucked out there. Are they going to?
And they're going to send him back to second because they said that the ball got stuck in the Cotuit bullpen, even though it really had just been sent a long ways. It wasn't caught under anything, it looked, from our perspective. But that's ultimately going to send Newell back to second. That's a free base for Harwich that they should have been granted. I'm not sure what the thought was there on the call.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you, Tim. I disagree with the call. I mean, how are you going to send him back to second? This is the first time we've audibly heard the crowd be upset here at White House this season. Really frustrated with that one.
That was a questionable call against a team that has been struggling to catch a break.
As Nick Goodwin draws ball for first and second for Vetrano. We'll take a quick look at the Cotuit defense. Left fielder is Zach Cole. Victor Scott the second and center. Eddie Park in right. Kyle Karros at third. Ryan Ritter at short. Tommy Troy at second. Brooks Baldwin at first. And Caleb Lomavita doing the catching for Tyler Bosma. And Joe Vetrano, no stranger to Cotuit, has his only home run of the season against them, a 2-run blast out at Lowell Park in Cotuit, and a 3 RBI game. He also had a sacrifice fly. So 3 of the 4 runs were with the help of Vetrano. Doesn't like the first pitch. Breaking ball misses outside at 74 miles an hour for ball 1.
Yeah, I mean, he's been having a couple of big games. It's about starting to find some consistency now for him. But he's in a spot that he's familiar with on the season. Whenever he's got runners in scoring position, batting 400, 4 for 10 with 6 RBI.
1-0 is in there to even up the count. Vetrano raised his average 45 points in the game last night. He's up to 240 on the season. Came into that game at 195. So he's definitely been trending. Had a hit against Bourne, an RBI single. All good things to say about Joe. As he chops this one, it's going to be shallow. Fielded by Bosma, flips on to first. Vetrano is retired, but the runners advance 90 feet each. It's second and third now.
And you start to think more about that ball that was thrown out into the Cotuit dugout, or the bullpen rather, toward the bullpen. Whether or not it had actually been unplayable should have been perhaps the run in Chris Newell to have come across, but Newell now standing on third, and it's going to take a base hit from Hunter Stokely in order to get him home.
And I'm surprised it didn't draw Coach Englert out of the dugout. I mean, the way this team has been able to catch no breaks, and then something like that happens, and the umpires don't give you, or make you go back, rather, they take something from you. I'm surprised he wasn't aggravated enough to voice his opinion, but a guy who's been in the league for many, many years, and very mature coach, and probably has something in his back pocket that he's not telling us, or faith in his offense. Hunter Stokely down 0-1 in the count, grounds this one over to second. It's fielded by Tommy Troy, and he fires on to first for out number 3. So the Mariners match the Cotuit Kettleers, holy cow, and they strand 2 in the first inning, and now Coach Englert is going to have that conversation with the umpire as if on cue. We'll take a quick break and be right back here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. So it'll be Kyle Karros to get things started here in the top of the second. Sean Sullivan back out there. Allowed the one hit and the one walk in the first inning. But stranded both of them, so did his job. He's behind in the count 1-0, 78 miles an hour on that pitch. Karros, the third baseman tonight, grounds it right back to Sullivan. That'll be an easy one for him. He helps himself, don't mind if I do. And it's a 1-3 putout for out number 1.
Yeah, he's a little comebacker right toward him at the mound. Sometimes you see those eat up a pitcher, so not always an easy play getting pitchers fielding practice in.
Brings up Victor Scott. Scott on the season hitting a minute 103. That's 3 for 29. His OBP is 350, so it doesn't hurt to keep him in the lineup. Very quick. Holds down center field, of course. Huge plus on defense. Count 1-0 from Sullivan. Breaking ball way outside. He smiles it off, and it's 2-0.
We've seen this a few times. He's not really been able to find the zone on his off speed. Had it happen back in the first inning, which he ultimately walked, Eddie Park.
Blows that one right by him, though, at 84. Not sure if that was even a changeup. Maybe he just doesn't have the velo tonight. Seems like all his pitches are a few miles per hour slower than we saw over in the last game. That one in there at 84. And I'd say that's probably looking like his fastball to me, Tim.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're able to find your spots, you know, that's just as important, but even still.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Scott. 1 away here in the second. Bounces that one in the dirt. Nice stop by Gassetti. And it's all loaded up 3-2.
Yeah, there it is again. That one, that 78 miles an hour. Tried to get it to drop. Enticingly enough for Scott, but nowhere going.
This one misses outside, and he walked him. Victor Scott raises that OBP despite his low average, and he's on first now.
From Kentucky, number 10, Ryan Ritter.
And Victor Scott, very much so a threat to run. He's swiped 9 bases, which is 1 off the team and the league high of 10 by Brooks Baldwin. He hasn't been caught at all. 100% efficiency.
Yeah, I mean, this Cotuit team, that is their brand of baseball, where they will have guys who can just run and steal bases, play small ball, or as Coach Mike Roberts likes to put it, backyard ball. As he had a interview pre-game here today at White House Field.
First pitch to the batter, and Ryan Ritter. No, he did not go around. Another close call. First base umpire Hinojosa might have missed that one. I mean, that was almost all the way around.
Yeah.
Tough one there for Sullivan, but he's behind 1-0. The next pitch of the 8th, foul tipped into the mitt, and 1-1. 9. So OBP 397, shortstop for the team. The nice thing about having guys go is Sullivan's a lefty, so it's going to be a little harder to read. There he goes. Anyway, slides in and has to make the jog of shame back following the foul ball.
His light trot back to first from second base is probably still faster than my sprint. I mean, he's just got so much speed, Victor Scott.
We'll see if they go back-to-back steals here, Tim. 1-2. Bounced in the dirt. Gassetti stops that one, and Scott stays put. Sullivan wasting no time. He's already back into his set. Scott taking a lead off, and the pitch. Way outside, 3-2. Sean Sullivan's already thrown 36 pitches thus far in the ball game through just an inning and a third. Cotuit's done a really nice job of working him here. Scott jumping off first, and the payoff pitch is lifted out to deep center field. Going back is Harding, turning, and that ball is gone. A 2-run bomb to dead center field for Ryan Ritter. his 3rd home run of the season, a blast. The first center field home run we've seen. That's over 400 feet out there, Tim. A nice looking swing, and he puts Cotuit on the board first, 2-0.
Yeah, wow.
Now
That thing
batting
just
for the
popped
Cavaliers,
off the
the
bat.
catcher from
Sent it
South,
clear over the
number
fence at
15,
center.
Caleb Lomavita.
As you said, Devin, that's the first time we've seen someone power a ball that deep. I mean, Johnny Long last time YD was in town, he was able to tattoo a ball up towards the base of the fence, but we have not seen one get over it. That was a very hard-struck ball.
I mean, it didn't look off the bat as if it. Oh, I think I was just in disbelief because we haven't seen a ball hit that far at the ballpark. But a nice shot for Ritter, and he adds to his nice campaign. So now we move to the 9 spot. Caleb Lomavita. 1-1 pitch. Makes it 1-2. That one in there. And for Lomavita, 5'11", 205 pounds, hitting .304 out of that 9 spot. This is 10th game. Two. This is lined back up the middle. Almost took off Sullivan's shoelaces, and it gets into center field for a base hit. So after a quick first out, Cotuit in business. They already have as many runs as they had in Game 1 against Harwich, and as many hits as they did against Harwich. So they're definitely a different identity here. And an interesting move, something that happened pre-game. They did not take infield outfield. I'm not sure if they did that at Lowell Park before they came, but Coach Roberts elected to forgo the time and not get warm-ups in that way.
Yeah, I'm really curious as to what the decision behind that was. Not sure what kind of strategic advantage that could possibly give you.
0-1 is upstairs, make it 1-1. Sullivan trying to settle back in. And here it is. This is chopped over to first. Stokely Fields goes to second for 1, but trouble on the transfer for Goodwin. They will settle for the fielder's choice and get that lead runner. There's now 2 away.
Number 22, Eddie Park.
So that brings up the right fielder, Eddie Park. For Park, 6'1", 188 pounds. Has not recorded a hit yet this season. This is just his 2nd at-bat. He's in the 2 spot, though. Sullivan into his set, takes a look at the runner, and first pitch. Just misses the outside corner for ball 1. One and 0. Now to Park. Park from Kent State, one of the Golden Flashes. Former Mariner broadcaster Tyler Henry, of course, over there now. So a little bit of a connection between the two there. .2-0 pitch is fouled back to the netting. And make it 2-1. Sullivan in the strike column. For Eddie Park, he hit .318 this season at Kent State. 47 runs, 9 doubles, 15 RBI. 8 of 11 stolen bases. Walked 36 times. Transferring to Stanford now. He'll be a Cardinal. As they try and pick off the runner, they got him going. The tag is in time. So they pick off the runner, and Tommy Troy, he's thrown out at second. Looked like he might have got under the tag, but the throw beat him. And that will effectively end the second. But a Ryan Ritter 2-run blast to dead center makes this a 2-0 ball game. We'll take a quick break and be right back on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back. Bottom of the second. Graham Pauley will lead things off. He'll be followed by David Smith and Mac Gassetti. As first pitch to Pauley just misses up high for ball one. And for Pauley, he was cut by this team in Cotuit, so getting a chance to play against them now. Former teammates, a little bit of a revenge game for him, hitting .292 at Duke this season. That was good for a ball club high. Also had a ball club high 19 multi-hit games, 7 multi-RBI games. Pops up the third pitch he sees into shallow right center field, and it's put away by Zach Cole for out number one.
Now batting for your Harwich Mariners, the second baseman from UConn, number 4, David Smith.
So David Smith will climb in. It's been a slow start for him since joining the M's. He's just 1 for 17 thus far. Was in the leadoff spot the first few times in the lineup, but now has dropped down to 7 and trying to earn his stay. Chops this first one foul off to the left for strike one. Matt Cassetti on deck. Mariners stranded 2 in the first inning. They trail by 2. Here comes the 0-1 to the Yukon Husky. Misses outside, make it 1-1. Smith, 5'10", 190 pounds from Collegeville, Pennsylvania. As 1-1 misses at his eyes to make it 2-1. Went to LaSalle his first year before he became a Yukon Husky. And for the Huskies, he hit .307 this past season with a .405 OBP and .496 slugging percentage. Not a bad slash line there. 3-1 now to him. And that pitch misses outside. David Smith draws his second walk of the season to get on base. So the Mariners got something going here with 1 away.
Yeah, and you know, you need a guy in Smith, it feels, especially with the way that the infield sort of become depleted with a lot of departures recently. And so to have a guy come in who's able to give you some defense and based on his numbers over at UConn is going to be able to provide some for you, some pop, some good contact. You know, Mariners hoping that Smith can be a guy who's reliable the rest of the stretch here despite coming in late.
So Matt Gassetti will climb in with 1 away. The new Alabama Crimson Tide member fouls off the first pitch to go down 0-1. Mac on the season, hitting .268. Or excuse me. Mac on the season with just a few hits. He's been splitting time with Levens ever since the departure of Teal. Levens got the start last night. Didn't help himself out too much. Had an 0 for night and a strikeout. 0-2 pitch now coming. And it's fouled off again. Does a good job to spoil it and stay alive.
They just turned on the lights here at White House Field a little earlier than usual. Only 7:05 now. Of course, we are on the other side of the summer solstice. So days are going to be getting shorter. Not really anytime soon, but ever so slightly.
As another pitch spoiled. Nice at bat for Matt Gassetti. 5th pitch coming, and there still hasn't been a ball. He's fighting against Bosma. Gassetti from Nokomis, Florida. Attended Venice High School. Here's the pitch. He lines it over to second, gets by the dive of Tommy Troy, rounding second and staying there. The throw comes back, not in time. David Smith, lucky to be safe. Almost got caught as a deer does in the headlights But it'll be a one-out single for Matt Cassetti, his second hit of the year. And now first and second once again for the Mariners with one out.
Yeah, Smith was dead set on trying to go for third. Finally got the stop sign a little late, but he had wheels on him. I mean, I think even if he had committed to third, he could have really had a chance at getting there. He had a lot of momentum heading toward the bag. Took him, I think, about as much time to stop and come back to second as it perhaps would have for him to finish the rest of the path down to third.
It definitely would have been a close play. As a double steal now on, but, or rather maybe a hit and run. Cole Harding fouls off that pitch. Trying to turn it over to the top of the lineup, see what Press Kavanaugh can't do. Harding did not play last night. He's been alternating ever since June 25th. After starting most games for Harwich. Starting all but 2 before that time. As this one in there to make it 0-2. He's had a couple multi-hit games, so some bright spots, but overall, a bit of a slow start, still hitting just 162. Comes in bunches though, very streaky hitter. Breaking ball drops right in there for strike 3. Harding gets rung up on 3 pitches. Big out for Tyler Bosma, and there's 2 away.
Really nice pitch to close out the sequence, off speed that just sort of floated over the plate. And down goes the batter in Harding. If you're Harwich, you don't want to leave runners stranded in scoring position for the second straight inning.
It's been almost carbon copy. In the first inning, Newell walked and Goodwin, Newell got a single and Goodwin walked, and they were stranded. And then Smith walks here and Gassetti singles. And now there's 2 outs and 1 out away from another couple being stranded. Press Kavanaugh trying to be the guy to change that narrative. Here comes the pitch. And it's 1-0 now to Press Kavanaugh. He's out and right, as you mentioned, but he's been fantastic thus far in the outfield. He's got a handful of putouts, strong arm, and covers a lot of ground.
Yeah, I mean, what more could you want from an outfielder than what you've been getting from this Harwich Mariners outfield platoon all season long? It's been fantastic.
1-0 misses downstairs. 2-0. Chris Newell is on deck should we get there. Kavanaugh, the 5th batter of the inning. 2 down, 2 on. Bosma trying to get out of another jam. As this one is grounded, but right at Brooks Baldwin. He runs and taps first base, and they avoid trouble once again. So the Mariners threaten the second straight inning, but can't drag anything across. We'll take a quick break and be right back on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Inning number 3 now. It'll be Eddie Park back up to the plate after Tommy Troy was picked off. He'll be followed by Brooks Baldwin and Carter Trice. Heart of the order for the Kettleers. Sullivan back out there, inning number 3. And first pitch is fouled off for strike 1. Sullivan thus far has allowed just 3 hits and 2 earned runs with 2 walks and 2 strikeouts. 2 is the magic number as this one's flied right at Cole Harding, a few steps to his left, and he puts it away. That's out number 1.
Yeah, that's what you want if you're
Now
Sullivan.
batting for Cotuit,
Good, quick
the first
first out.
baseman
He's
from
gotten
UNC
that
Wilmington,
in each the
number
first
11,
and second
Brooks
innings so far,
Baldwin.
but you want to be able to follow it up here. He has not been able to retire the second and third batter of each the first and second inning, and so he's going to want to look to have a little better efficiency here.
Already up to a whopping 47 pitches through just 2 1/3. And now Brooks Baldwin steps up to the plate, grounds this one foul off to the left for strike 1. Brooks has an infield single already back in the first inning. Sullivan comes to his set. He's got that glove up in the chest area. He kicks and delivers. Caught him lunging as it's fouled back to make it 0-2. Baldwin with 13 runs batted in on the season. He's hit .333 against Sean Sullivan. Here comes the 0-2 offering, and it's chopped foul once again. Baldwin on it, just can't barrel it up. He stays alive, 0-2.
Yeah, just stay alive, be able to fight off pitches, sort of extend the at-bat here and try to shorten the day for Sullivan.
Nice crowd here. We had another good one against YD in the 9-0 shutout loss, but allegedly over 2,400 people were here. As the 0-2 is lifted high and deep out in the gap, but Cole Harding able to range over there, played it perfectly, and there's 2 away. Loud out number 2 for Brooks Baldwin.
Now batting for the
Yeah, but even
Kettleers,
so, you take it if you're
DH
Sullivan.
from NC
Any way you
State,
can get an
number
out.
14, Carter Trice.
And Harding is doing a fine job out in center so far here tonight.
So that brings up Carter Trice. He popped out to the shortstop back in inning number 1. And Trice on the year, hitting just .250. Trying to crack Sean Sullivan here and add some insurance. The only one who's really been able to do so is Ryan Ritter. 3 hits for the Kettleers, 2 for Harwich. And the first pitch is popped up. Shallow right field. Going out is Smith, but calling it is Press Kavanaugh. It's a 1-2-3 third for Sean Sullivan, a much needed one. He sits at 52 pitches through the first 3 innings. We'll take a quick break and be right back for the home half of the third. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. bottom of the third inning, Chris Newell will step in. He's hitting .308 on the young season. He's played just his 5th game now. 13 at-bats in that span. He's got a run, couple RBIs, the homer. Struck out 3 times, though. Slugging .500. Has not walked either. 0-1 now to him. Member of the University of Virginia, along with Kyle Teal and Jake Geloff, who are gone. 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball is lifted high and deep out to right field. Going back is Eddie Park. Looking up, it's gone! Chris Newell puts the Mariners on the board. A solo shot to lead off the 3rd inning. His 2nd of the season. A beautiful swing, and it's 2-1. The lead cut in half.
Yeah, he knew it as soon as he cranked that thing. I mean, that bat flip right out of the gate, he could just tell. What a hard hit ball out toward right. Very impressive shot from Chris Newell, a guy who we know has that power, and he continues to excel here as of late for Harwich.
Now batting for your Harwich Mariners,
And maybe that's the burst Harwich needed, a little life, as he exchanges high fives with all his teammates. They give him some sort of bat. Must be some significance with it. Every team's got a little something. But a big shot for Newell. No doubter, as you said, Tim, right off the bat. 0-1 now to Nick Goodwin, who is tied now with Newell for the team high in home runs with 2 of them. Ball and a strike to the Kansas State shortstop. He's already walked here tonight. He was stranded at 2nd. 3 hits aside. 2-1 Cotuit. And this one is lifted into foul ground. Baldwin giving chase at the fence. He overran it. Kind of a funky pursuit route by Baldwin. And the ball able to fall in the warning track area in foul territory. So still alive now is Goodwin.
Yeah, you take your opportunities and your chances when you get them if you're Goodwin. At bat stays alive. Find a way to make Cotuit pay for it.
Nick hitting .262. He's got a couple homers, 12 runs batted in. 1-2 pitch, just misses outside, 2-2.
And Devin, you mentioned Kyle Teal and Jake Geloff a bit earlier. 2 of the Mariners who headed off to Team USA. The Team USA development program actually started up their intra-squad scrimmages.
As down goes Goodwin swinging for out number 1.
5 out of the 6 Harwich Mariners got in yesterday, back on the 30th of June, at Cary, North Carolina, for the first game between the Stars and Stripes. You have Kyle Teal and Jake Geloff. They both represented the Stripes yesterday. Kyle Teal was on the Stars. He went 1 for 1 with 2 runs and an RBI. Got on with 2 walks as well, as that pitch is fouled off by Vetrano. Then you had Jake Geloff, did go 0 for 3 yesterday. Gino Groover, also an 0 for, went 0 for 2, did get on with a walk but struck out twice. And then you also have Jaden Woods, as Vetrano offers and goes around. It's now 0-2. Jaden Woods pitched a complete inning, allowed 1 hit, struck out 2 batters for the Stripes, and then the star of the game yesterday, Brock Wilken. 4 for 5, 2 RBI. Impressive day for him.
Yeah, it's great to see those Mariners out-representing the country and putting up great stat line. Definitely nice to see. No Santucci, though, in
Not
that.
yet.
As Vetrano chops it over towards the Cotuit dugout. We stay at 0-2.
I'm sure sooner rather than later we will see Santucci. Seen pictures of him already in uniform.
Yeah, Jake Geloff and Brock Wilken right on the front page there. 0-2 offering. Vetrano flips it into shallow left field, but going over is Cole, and he's able to haul it in. Look for a second, it might have a chance to land, but it'll be out number 2 for Hunter Stokely.
Yeah, it wasn't the hardest hit ball by Vetrano. Didn't look like a full swing on it, really. Just sort of poked it with the end of the bat out toward left field, and it hung up just long enough for Cole to be able to get underneath that one.
In comes Hunter Stokely, nicknamed the Babe by Coach Engler. for his pinstripe pants from North Carolina. And first pitch, breaking ball fools him in the dirt. He swings at it, and it's 0-1. Stokely coming off an off day for him, but against Bourne he had a pair of hits, reached base with a walk. He was fantastic. Scored a run. Count is now 1-1.
Yeah, and you know, Harwich, it feels like they need guys to be able to come in and produce. You know, you cannot just bring somebody in and then have them take up a spot in the lineup. And so, excellent that Stokely's been able to actually find a rhythm so far here.
As he goes right through that one up high. 1 ball and 2 strikes now to the first baseman. Stokely in the left-hand side. Bosma trying to retire him. On the day, he gets him. Good inning. Other than the home run from Chris Newell for Bosma, he bounces back. That's his 3rd strikeout. But as mentioned, Chris Newell with a blast to deep right field cuts the Cotuit lead in half. It's 2-1. We head to the second third of this ball game and take a quick break on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
For the Cavaliers, the left fielder
Top
from
of
Ball
the
State,
4th
number
inning.
20,
Sean
Zachary
Sullivan back
Cole.
out there, and for play-by-play duties for innings 4 through 6, Tim Foley. Tim.
Thanks so much, Devin. It's going to be Zach Cole to lead it off for the Kettleers in the top of the 4th inning. A first pitch off-speed strike at 75 miles an hour is thrown by Sullivan into Cole. Important for Sullivan to have that off-speed fall for a strike. He was struggling with it earlier, trying to find the strike zone, trying to entice batters to bite at it, as that one's going to fly in there at 86 miles an hour, amps up the heat a little bit. It's now 0-2 to the batter in Cole. Again, he's already struck out once today, trying to avoid a second strikeout. The pitch. That's going to miss outside, and it's 1-2. We'll also see Kyle Karros and Victor Scott II in this inning for Cotuit. A 2-1 lead for the Kettleers. Chris Newell was able to blast a solo shot to lead off the 3rd inning, as that one's also going to miss 87 miles an hour. 2-2 now the count. Newell, that was his 2nd of the season. Mariners then retired 1-2-3 thereafter. Sullivan comes set, holds the glove about chest height. The pitch. And that's going to miss. And it's 3-1 now. 3 straight balls from Sean Sullivan that have been close to the plate. He's been trying to get him with the fastball on the outside corner. Hasn't been able to catch it. It's a 3-2 count now here to Cole. Sullivan going to have to commit to going over a bit more of the plate here on this next pitch. Here it is. That's going to be pushed out toward left field. Going over Chris Newell. He makes the catch. And there's one away.
Yeah. Got to credit Sean Sullivan. As you just said, Tim, 3 pitches that were all 50-50. The 3rd one, I mean, I don't know how he didn't get rung up on that. Right at the knees, over the plate. maybe a little low. I guess we have an angle up here from the press box, but a good job to work through it. And Chris Newell picking up his pitcher with a nice catch out and left.
And so it's now Kyle Karros grounded out to Sullivan back in his last AB. He'll slice this one back foul, and the count opens up at 0-1. Karros on the season for Cotuit. So far, batting .233, 7 of 30. Has 8 strikeouts and 5 walks. Just the 1 RBI, nobody on for him to drive around. It's an 0-1 count. Here's the pitch. Checks his swing, and that one's going to miss down low, 79 miles an hour. The count now 1-1 here to Karros. Cotuit, they have been excellent this season, atop the West Division. The 1-1 pitch is going to miss inside. It's now 2-1. They are 7 points clear of their next opponent out in the West. 3.5 games over Hyannis, who was able to pick up a win last night over the Mariners. 2-0 defeat for Harwich over at McKeon Park, as the 2-1's going to miss outside at 87 miles an hour. Hyannis, though, 3-game win streak, as is Cotuit, as the West continues to stay hot out there. Meanwhile, difference between first and fourth in the East is 5 games. Meanwhile, it's just 3.5 out in the West, so similar margins, but between 2 vastly different spots in the standings. As that one's going to miss low and inside, and that's going to be a walk issued to Kyle Karros. That is now the 3rd walk of the day from Sean Sullivan. He's issued 1 in the first, 1 in the second, and now 1 here in the 4th inning.
And Tim, you mentioned something interesting off the air, and that's that there's only 3 teams with a positive run differential in the Cape Cod Baseball League. And I think that speaks a lot of volumes, because it means that the level of the teams, I would say, is relatively similar to some extent, because only 3 teams have a positive run differential. So if everybody else is negative, then it means they're trading punches. Some person's up one night, they're down the next night. So definitely something to marvel about there.
Just to give you those run differentials, Cotuit atop the table in that regard, of course. 44 runs they have scored more than their opponents. 78 for and only 34 against. Then you have YD out in the East. They are the only Eastern team with a positive run differential, and that's at 33. They are 36 runs clear of their next opponent out in the East. And then you have the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Positive run differential at 13. The lowest run differential in the Cape Cod Baseball League currently belongs to the Chatham Anglers at -24. Harwich, the 3rd worst run differential in the Cape League at -21. Only Falmouth has a worse one than them at -22 beyond Chatham. As it's 0-1 here, first pitch fouled off by Victor Scott II, who got on with a walk back in the 2nd inning and was brought around on Ryan Ritter's blast out to dead center. Here's the 0-1. That's going to miss outside, and it's now 1-1. 86 miles an hour out of the left hand of Sean Sullivan. He's had some issues with his command here today.
Yeah, it hasn't been the greatest, especially considering how high the bar was coming off his last outing, but he's battled, allowed just the 2 runs. Got to find a way out of this, though.
This one's going to be popped up out toward right field. Kavanaugh back deep, has to trail over to his left, and he's going to whip that one back into the infield. Catch is made, and Kavanaugh had to track that one deep back to the wall, had to stride over to his side as well. He went on quite a journey to be able to catch that ball.
Yeah, it was a great play by Press. He had trouble finding him, but able to get over there. And Tim, something that I'm picking up on just now, Chandler Simpson has been released from Cotuit. He was player of the week, if I'm not mistaken. He was hitting .455. So to have him out of your lineup, a guy who steals a bunch of bases as well. He had 8 on the season. Definitely going to hurt them long term. Good shortstop.
Yeah, he was excellent as Ryan Ritter spoils that one off at 89 miles an hour, and the count opens at 0-1. I mean, you talk about Cotuit as a team, of course, they've stolen the most bases in the Cape Cod Baseball League at 37. You take away the 8 that he's been able to steal for you, if you're Cotuit, that brings it back down to 29, and then all of a sudden, you're below board. And so certainly taking away really an identifying factor for this Cotuit style of play. A player in Chandler Simpson was so good, just knew how to poke the ball into opposite field. Was able to find open grass, and then whenever he'd get on, just a crazy threat. It's a 1-1 count. This one's going to be pulled past the third baseman and Pauly. That's going to get down the line. Heading around second base now is going to be Caros. Up to second base is Ritter, and that's going to be a 2-out double for Ryan Ritter, his second extra base hit of the ball game.
Had the home run back in the second. Now he doubles here. A shot down the line. Pauly, although he dove, stood no chance against that one. Perfect piece of hitting, and with 2 outs now, the 9-hitter and Loma Vita's got a chance to do some more damage against these Mariners.
Caleb Loma Vita, as mentioned, steps in, the catcher, singled back in the second inning. Ended up getting cut down on a fielder's choice, 3-6. And the inning ended not long thereafter as Tommy Troy was then caught stealing. He swings and misses at the first pitch, and the count opens at 0-1. 78 miles an hour. Sullivan opening with the off-speed. He does that often. And he's able to get the batter and Loma Vita to bite. Stares in. Sullivan comes set now on the mound. Looks toward home. He's got runners in scoring position behind him. This ball is going to be popped up right side. Stokely over. In now is the second baseman in Smith, falling to the ground in foul territory. He makes the catch. The Kettleers threaten. They get runners on second and third, but the Harwich Mariners able to recover and end the inning, leaving 2 stranded for Cotuit. We'll be back on the other side of the break with more Harwich Mariners baseball. In the meantime, don't go too far. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back inside White House Field. Tim Foley, Devin Dobick along with you. It is a 2-1 lead for the Kettleers as that one's going to be punched back up the middle by Graham Pauly. He's able to get a base hit in his first game against his former team. That played with the Kettleers to open up the season. And he's able to hit a single back up the middle to get on base as a leadoff man here.
And some part of me feels a little bad for Tommy Troy because there have been about 3 or 4 balls hit his way that he has dived or been so close to making a play on, and all of them have skipped into the outfield, just a bit off.
Yeah, sometimes it's just out of reach. As David Smith stands in now, made a nice play to make the inning out, as that one's going to be bunted down the first base line, and that's going to be safe. And going all the way to third now is going to be Graham Pauly. It was a bunt that was laid down by David Smith in an attempt to advance Pauly up to second. But what happened thereafter was that the flip from the pitcher and Tyler Bosma was botched. as he tried to flip it with the glove over to Baldwin on first. That allowed Pauly to head down to third because nobody was near the baseball, and David Smith now safe over on first. So the corners here are packed. Graham Pauly on third, David Smith over on first, as Gassetti comes up to bat. He is 1 for 1 on the day, just his second hit of the season, his last at bat. As Bosma in a bit of a bind here. That is the second time today that the leadoff man has been able to record a hit for Harwich. Looking at Pauly again very quickly. It was last inning, the third inning, in which Newell was able to hit a solo shot out to right field. As it's an 0-1 count here now to Gassetti.
Mack without an RBI on the season. He's got a chance for that first one here. Tie the ball game.
As the 0-1 is going to be fanned out and missed. 78 miles an hour was high of the strike zone. Gassetti could not get any of it. 0-2. Gassetti stares in now, awaiting the pitch from Bosma. Bosma looks and delivers. And back over at third, the throw gets away from Kyle Karros. Pauly's going to come home. The Mariners were able to get a run across because Caleb Lomavita air-mailed the throw down to Karros to try to check on Pauly. Tried to catch Pauly with his hand in the cookie jar, but opened it for him instead. Mariners have tied the game, 2-2 in the bottom of the fourth inning.
I mean, you'll take these unforced errors. It's almost like Cotuit is bleeding, just handing you the ball game. That's their third error here, and we're just 3+ innings in. Harwich not done yet.
As the game now tied. It's a 1-2 count. As that one's down to the dirt, it's now 2-2. So a fortunate turn of events here for Harwich. You get a break after you had what felt like a run taken away from you back in the first inning. But brand new ball game now. Even more so here if you're Harwich. Runner on second with nobody away as Matt Gassetti goes down swinging. And the count will reset as there's one away now. That is the fourth strikeout of the game for Tyler Bosma.
Tough one for Gassetti, but you got to be happy with the base running here for Harwich. Definitely bailed him out there. Pressure is off for him to tie the game. And yes, he strikes out, but at least the job got done.
So Cole Harding, who struck out looking back in the second inning, comes up to bat now. First pitch is going to be in for a called strike to him. 76 miles an hour off-speed pitch. It's able to find the strike zone. So the count opens at 0-1. Still on second here, David Smith, as he was able to advance down. Here's the pitch. That's going to be hit right into the shift, right at the second baseman, Tommy Troy. David Smith advances over to third, but Cole Harding hit that one right back up the middle. But Mike Roberts had his defense positioned appropriately, and there's now 2 away.
Yeah, that was a tough break for Cole Harding. Really got a hold of this one. But right there is Tommy Troy, and I think holding the runner on also helped. So he barely had to move, scorched right at him. He's able to get the out. And now Bosma can get out of this with the ball game tied. He's got to go through a tough hitter, though, in Kavanaugh.
So up to bat now, Press Kavanaugh back to the top of the order for the third time today for the Mariners. He's grounded out to the right side of the infield twice. Here's the first pitch to him. That's going to be in for a called strike, and the count is now 0-1. Mariners getting some consistent offense here. So far, I've been able to score in half the innings played here. Back-to-back innings at that. This one's going to be hit on the ground right side, right over to Baldwin. He will step on to first and continue on into the dugout. The inning ends. The Harwich Mariners scratch across another run as Graham Pauly comes home on a ball air-mailed over Kyle Karros' head by Caleb Lomavita. 2-2 here from White House Field. We'll be back with more on the other side. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. Welcome back inside White House Field. Tim Foley and Devin Dobick along with you. As up to bat to lead it off, it's going to be Tommy Troy for the Kettleers. As that one's going to run in on him. Troy, he's got the left elbow guard on, thankfully enough, as he will head down. Perhaps got him on the hand. Either way, he's going to take a base. So, Troy now down to first, and the leadoff man is on, as that's how Zane Probst comes into the ball game. He is the new pitcher into the game for the Harwich Mariners, as the day is done for Sean Sullivan. His day looked like this. Sullivan pitched 4 complete innings, gave up 4 hits, 2 runs, both of which were earned, walked 3 batters, and struck out 2. Man up to bat now is Eddie Park. This one will be chopped off foul, and the count is 0-1.
And for Probst, this will be his 5th appearance. Got the save in his last one. Went 2 innings, threw 33 pitches. Had a couple strikeouts, just the 1 walk. Didn't allow a run.
As Probst stares back over towards second base, or rather first base. Now delivers the 0-1 pitch. That's spoiled off, and the count is now 0-2. And of course, that last outing for Probst was game 1 of that doubleheader, in which Harwich just had an absolutely locked down pitching performance on that day. I mean, you had Sean Sullivan who opened up the day, or rather, sorry, Liam Sullivan, who opened up the day with 10 strikeouts across his 5 innings pitched, and then handed it off to Probst. And with it only being a 7-inning ball game, the Mariners only needed those 2 guys to do what they did. They were excellent, as it's a 1-2 count here to the batter in Park. Pick off attempt back to first is not going to be in time. He'll slide back in safely, and the count remains at 1-2 here as Park awaits the next pitch. Park so far on the day 0 for 1. Got on with a walk back of the first inning, got as far as second base, and then flew out to center field back in the 3rd inning. So another pickoff move over to first. He will check on him. Sliding back in safely is going to be Troy.
Almost caught him leaning there. Troy looked like he was going on that pitch, but he gets back in.
Here's the 1-2. That'll be hit out into left. Kavanaugh under it. Makes the catch. One away.
See, they even tricked you, Tim. Chris Newell in left.
That's right.
It up.
It's just muscle memory, I suppose. It is Chris Newell out in left field. Apologies.
It's definitely interesting. I'm surprised that they didn't just keep pressing left and put Newell in right. There must be some sort of reason Coach Englert's got, maybe based on lineup and where balls have been flying off Cotuit's bats. But, yeah, Newell in left. Interesting there.
And they got him. Finally caught Troy leaning over at first, and he's put away. You were saying it, Devin. He's been looking juicy over there, and they finally get him.
Beautiful job by Probst. They're not giving up despite the few attempts prior, and he knows Cotuit likes to run, so he's not going to give them the liberty of being able to dance off the bag and get back in freely. And he gets that. Big out number 2.
So that'll clean the bases as this one's going to be popped up, perhaps playable for Newell out in deep left. He's underneath it, and the inning ends. Zane Probst faces the minimum in his first inning played. And so we head now to the bottom of the 5th inning. Mariners back up to bat when we return, trying to break the stalemate. 2-2 here from White House Field. We'll be back in a minute. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network.
Chris Newell.
Chris Newell leads us off in the home half of the 5th inning. Mariners sit in a 2-2 tie with the Cotuit Kettleers as Bosma back on the mound. And Chris Newell lays down a first pitch bunt off a 77-mile-an-hour off-speed pitch that trickles down the third base line, rolls foul, and will call him back to the batter's box. The count opens at 0-1. Chris Newell on the day. What a day it's been. He is 2 for 2 with a single and a solo jack. So he's having quite the performance here today for the Mariners, as he'll stand back in once again. Has to pick up his bat. It is the first multi-hit day of the season for Chris Newell. He's had one in a couple of games so far, but first time he's been able to do it several times, at least this season. As the next pitch misses inside, it's 1-1 at 89 miles an hour.
And the Mariners 3-4 when they've hit a home run. So not the best stats, but that is half their wins coming when they have a long ball.
As this one's popped up, and that's going to be caught by the third baseman, and Kyle Karros. He comes in. And so there's now
If you're Harwich Mariners, the
one
shortstop
away
from
here
Kansas
in
State,
the
number
bottom of the
6,
5th inning.
Nick Goodwin.
Take you around the Cape Cod Baseball League scoreboard. Brewster and Falmouth knotted at 0 at Arnie Elm and Diamond in the bottom of the 6th. Cotuit and Harwich obviously knotted up 2-2 here at White House, bottom 5. YD above Orleans 1-0 out at Eldridge Park in the top of the 6th, and Bourne on top of Chatham 1-0 that game in the top of the 4th out at Veterans Field.
And then Hyannis as well, up 5-0 against Wareham. That game in the top of the 6th inning. Hawks are hot right now.
They are rolling, that is for sure.
That one's going to be fought off, foul. Now 1-1, 75 miles an hour that one came into. Nick Goodwin.
Goodwin on the day has walked and struck out 0 for 1.
As Bosma rocks and delivers. That's going to miss up high. It's now 2-1. Some action over in the Cotuit bullpen. A righty going. Some light toss right now, working his way up. It's a 2-1 count. Bosma stares in and delivers. That's going to be in for a called strike on Goodwin, and the count now 2-2.
Looked to be a little low, but we've had an interesting zone from Merzel.
As this one's going to be scorched left side. That'll be picked by Karros. Throw on to first is in time, and there's 2 away. That was a hard hit ball that Karros was able to field rather cleanly. Now there's 2 gone.
Yeah, look what I found. Beautiful play from Karros. Liner on the short hop, picks it out, popped out of his glove, but kind of like a little gift, came right back to him, and a strong throw across the diamond for out number 2.
As Joe Vitrano now steps up, he is 0 for 2 on the day. Grounded out to the pitcher in his last at-bat, and then flew out to, or pitcher in his first at-bat, I should say, flew out to left in his previous at-bat. It's 1-0 here to him. First pitch misses as he'll stare in. Bosma rocks and delivers. That one's going to be in. And it's now 2-0.
Vitrano's gone quietly. He had to come back to earth after a 3-for-4 outing in Hyannis. 0 for 2 on the day now.
As the next pitch comes in, that'll be fought off. Just off the end of the bat. Barely getting a piece of it was Vitrano. And it's now 2-1. So, Vitrano trying to keep it going here. Harwich trying to avoid what would be their first 1-2-3 inning of the ball game. They've gotten at least 4 batters up in every inning. This one's going to be hit out toward right field. That's going to hang up. Eddie parks underneath it and makes the catch. That ends the inning. Down go the Mariners, 1-2-3. We head now to the top of the 6th inning. Still a tie game, 2-2 from White House Field. We'll be back on the other side. You are listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. Welcome back to White House Field. Carter Trice steps in for the Cotuit Kettleers to lead it off here in the top half of the 6th inning. He's flown out to both shortstop and right field, and this one's going to be hit on the ground. Batted down by Probst. He'll have to throw onto first, but it's off the mark. It was going to be late to begin with, as that ball is going to be playable by Stokely, and the runner is going to hold over on first base. But, boy, Zane Probst tried to come over and play that ball, tried to bat it down. Would have been a playable ball perhaps for David Smith, but instead it allows the runner in Trice to be safe on first. So that's going to be ruled a hit. And the leadoff man is on here for Cotuit. This is the second time that the leadoff man's been able to get on for Cotuit, as that one's going to miss outside. It's 1-0 at 88 miles an hour. And this is the second time as well for Probst that he's allowed the leadoff man to get on. Sullivan did not allow the leadoff man to get on at all in all 4 of his innings pitched. As the 1-0 is going to miss outside, it's now 2-0, 92 miles an hour.
Yeah, Probst can bring it, that's for sure. Pumps the velo, and a guy who doesn't give up too many runs, but he's gotten into jams. He's also really good at escaping scenarios. We've seen him get out of bases loaded, runners in scoring position, you name it. He's found ways to get out of it with minimal damage.
As the 2-0 comes in, this one's going to be hit out toward left field. Newell striding over. He's not going to get there in time. That's going to get down. Coming around second base is Carter Trice. He'll hold over at third. Up to second with a double is Zach Cole. He's able to push it the opposite way. And runners are on second and third now with nobody away for the Cotuit Kettleers, trying to break this one open and jump back out in front.
Great piece of opposite field hitting to just dump it right into left field. No chance for Newell. He does a great job of getting the ball in though, so the runners are unable to advance any further. But a tough break, and now Probst really going to be put to the test, especially after that first hit, an unfortunate break. And now you got to dig deep and find your way out.
So this now brings up the batter in Kyle Karros. Karros 0 for 1 on the day. He'll spoil off the first pitch, and the count opens at 0-1. Grounded out to Sullivan back in his first at-bat to open up the second inning, and then walked back in the 4th inning. Got as far as third base, but did not score. It's 0-1 to him here from Probst. Stares in. Looks back towards second, and the pitch. That's going to be swung on and missed, 93 miles an hour. And it's now 0-2.
If you can find a way to get out without the ball going in the field, then that is a good circumstance for you with runners in scoring position. Your goal is to keep them stranded, obviously, so pitching non-contact, strikeout, foul out, you'll take it.
0-2 is going to be fought off, and that's going to head back to the backstop. Remains at 0-2 here. Cotuit on the season whenever they've got runners in scoring position, batting .242. That is across 161 at-bats so far, 51 RBI in these spots so far this season for Cotuit. And looking specifically at Karros, he's been in this spot 4 times, 0 for 4. Does have 1 RBI, as that one's going to miss down low. It's now 1-2.
And as for Harwich, coming into today, opponents hitting .233 against them with runners in scoring position. .248 with runners on base. So, I mean, not a bad stat line, all things considered.
See how Harwich can try to minimize this, as this one's going to be hit on the ground. They're going to let the run score. Throw on to first is in time. They're going to try to get him over at third now. Heading down was the base runner in Zach Cole. He's able to slide in safely. So Carter Trice comes home to score, and cut down over at first is going to be Kyle Karros on a 6-3 ground out. And now Victor Scott comes up to bat with Cotuit back out in front. It's 3-2.
And other than a base hit, that is about the best circumstance possible for Cotuit. They get an RBI ground out, run comes in, and the other guy moves 90 feet closer to scoring. He's on third now.
So Scott, as mentioned, up to bat, 0 for 1 on the day. Walk and a fly out the left. First pitch misses. It's a ball. It's 1-0. Probst winds and delivers, and that one's going to be swung on and missed. And it's now 1-1. Probst cranks it up 93 miles an hour. Talked about it. He can really throw that velocity. He's got it. And Scott trying to help advance the runner, and Zach Cole home. Here's the 1-1. Checks his swing. Did he go around? They'll appeal. They'll say he did. It's now 1-2.
Yep, got it right that time. He absolutely committed. One around, and now Probst one strike away from getting that second out, and his infielders can go back.
Probst nods, likes the sign, stares in, and delivers. That's going to miss outside, and it's now 2-2. 95 miles an hour. Probst really cranking it up. Trying to pour everything he's got into it. No action right now in the Harwich Mariners bullpen. Probst stares in. Did he go again? No, he did not. Chris Newell out and left, the secondary third base umpire, contesting that perhaps he did. Similar angle on the batter's box, but a bit further out. Nonetheless, Scott still alive in the batter's box. It's 3-2 here to him. Probst stares in, and the pitch. That's going to miss outside. Ball 4. He will head down to first base. Zach Cole still stands over on third. Runners on the corners here for Cotuit.
Yeah, had the fish on, but unable to reel it in. Would have been a huge out. Now you got to go through a whole nother batter, and one of the hottest guys in the lineup right now, Ryan Ritter. 2 extra base hits, homer, and a double. Got to be extremely careful what you decide to offer him.
Yes, certainly so, batting nearly 300 when he's got runners in scoring position. 7 RBI in these spots for him this season. As Probst delivers, bunt shown, runner's going to go down to second, and Matt Cassetti's going to hold. Does not want Zach Cole to be offered a pass back home. And for Ritter on the season, so far with 8 RBI as a whole. Count is 1-0 to him. Probst the pitch. That's going to miss down low, and it's now 2-0. First base is open, but it would mean the bases would be loaded for Caleb Lomavita and then Tommy Troy thereafter.
I don't think that's the worst thing right now, especially pitching from behind to a hot hitter. You don't want to feel forced to leave one over the plate.
That's going to be chopped down the third baseline foul, and we'll do it again at 2-1. Yeah, no, certainly. You want to be strategic here.
Especially 9-hitter on deck. Something to consider. This next pitch will probably be a telltale sign of what they do or how aggressive they decide to call the game from there.
It's a 2-1 count. Probst, the pitch. That's popped up, foul, out of play. Stokely just watched that one miss. Comes down right beside the press box here at White House Field, and count is 2-2.
Good job by Probst battling back. He's now got him on the hook again. This time he's got to capitalize.
Can he get out of this jam? Already one's come across here for the Kettleers. As Probst stares in and delivers. That's going to miss down low, gets away from Gassetti. Bounces back off the backstop, but nowhere near Gassetti for him to make a play. And coming home to score is going to be Zach Cole. So the Kettleers have tacked on 2 in this inning, and they make it now 4-2. Victor Scott's able to advance down to third base in the meantime as well. And so it continues to get ugly here for the Mariners in the 6th inning. Still a scoring threat. Over at third is Scott. And with the run and Trice having come home, this now is yet another game in a long line of games for the Harwich Mariners in which they've allowed their opponent to score 3 or more runs. As this one's going to be popped up out to left. Chris Newell makes a catch, and they will not tag at third. Victor Scott stands pat, and so Ryan Ritter's retired on a fly out to left field. But again, I mentioned that because Harwich has not won a game this season in which they've allowed 3 or more runs. So far on the year, 0-10, when they've allowed just 3 or more runs. Even lost last night against Hyannis after allowing only 2. Of course, got blanked against the Harbor Hawks. Otherwise, Harwich 6-1 when they only allow 2 runs or fewer.
25, Josh Pearson.
Josh Pearson's going to step in and pinch hit for Caleb Lomavita. Pearson on the season for Cotuit. When you look at his numbers, what he's been doing for them, batting 188, 3 of 16. He struck out 3 times, does have a double, and an RBI. Chance to add on another one here. Probst the pitch. That's going to miss outside, and it's 1-0. 86 miles an hour that one came in at. Probst again behind the count. We've seen a lot of first pitch balls from him that just have not been able to catch the strike zone, and it's hurting him. It's putting a lot of pressure on him in these at-bats. Have not seen an easy at-bat this inning for Zane Probst, as next pitch is in for a called strike at 92 miles an hour. It's 1-1.
It's been a grind for him for sure. He's already up to 28 pitches. He's had long outings before. Threw 55 once.
As that one's sliced off, it's now 1-2.
Still battling though. His team now in a 2-run hole, and that's his responsibility. He's still got to find a way out of this to make sure that there's no more people that cross the plate in this inning. And his offense also got to help him out. They have the 5 hits thus far, scored in back-to-back innings, 3rd and 4th, but that's not going to be enough.
As Probst stares in and delivers. 1-2 misses outside. It's now 2-2. And no, certainly, Devin, it doesn't feel like it's going to be enough. Obviously, down 2 right now, but the Mariners, they have just been really struggling to give their pitching staff any kind of support. As it's a 2-2 count. Probst stares in. Here's the pitch. That'll be hit on the ground right side. 2 hops into the glove of Stokely. He will make the tag on to first, and that is the inning. So, down goes Pearson and the Kettleers, but they do add 2 more runs. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning with the Mariners in a hole here. We'll be back on the other side with more Harwich Mariners baseball. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network.
Hunter Stokely.
As we bring you in here, Hunter Stokely up to bat. Justin Mickness now behind home plate as Stokely's going to hit the first pitch he sees over to first base. That'll be fielded by Baldwin, and he will tag the bag. So there's one down immediately for the new arm on the mound for the Cotuit Kettleers in Mark McLaughlin. The day is done for Tyler Bosma. He came in here today, pitched 5 complete innings, and with his team now ahead, he is eligible for the win. Gave up the 5 hits on the night, and was able to strike out 4 batters. Walked 2. First pitch is in for a strike to the batter in Graham Pauly, who was able to get his first base hit with the Mariners earlier here tonight. Back in his last at-bat, back in the 4th inning. Here's the 0-1 count. That's going to miss up high. It's now 1-1, 81 miles an hour that one came in at. Out of the hand of McLaughlin. McLaughlin out of Tennessee. This is his 3rd appearance for the Kettleers. He's pitched an inning and 2/3, allowed 2 hits, 1 walk, 1 earned run, and he struck out 2. He's also had 3 wild pitches. So his control's been a bit all over the place, McLaughlin. See how he's able to settle in here. Mariners perhaps a chance to get some good contact in, take some bases when you can. It is 1-2 here to the batter in Pauly. Here's the pitch. That'll be hit on the ground. That'll be flagged down by McLaughlin. He will throw on to first, and there's 2 gone.
Yeah, 2 quick outs, but still looking at this line, Tim, you'd think that Harwich would be able to jump on him. A 286 opponent batting average, a 1.80 whip, and a 5.40 ERA. A guy who really is not the best setup man, but he's put in this situation here to kind of chew a couple innings, get it to the closer.
So this now brings up David Smith. He's gotten on twice so far here today. Had a hit back in his last at-bat back in the 4th inning. As he stands in. That one's going to be good for a ball, 92 miles an hour. McLaughlin trying to find the strike zone here. He's able to retire the first 2 with relative ease. Now faced off with Smith. The 1-0 is going to miss up high at 91, and the count is now 2-0. Looking back across the Cape Cod Baseball League, tie game over in Falmouth between the Brewster Whitecaps and the Falmouth Commodores. 0-0 in the top of the 8th inning. As the 2-0 comes in, that will miss. It's now 3-0 here to Smith. 5-0 Hyannis out at Spillane Field in Wareham. It's 2-0 YD over Orleans at Eldridge Park in the top of the 7th, and then Bourne up 2-0 over Chatham in the top of the 5th inning. As the 3-0 in for a strike, and it's going to be now 3-1. And if you're Harwich, you're looking at that Chatham score, and you're a little thankful here. That's the one team that's behind you, and that's the one team that has been struggling more than you have here in the East Division. As the 3-1 is going to be swung on and missed, it's now 3-2.
Nice job to battle back here for McLaughlin. His college season, he was good at 2.01 ERA, 2-1 record, and a save across 27 appearances.
3-2 count, the pitch. That's going to miss high, and that is going to walk David Smith. He's on for the 2nd time today. This will bring up Matt Cassetti, single and a strikeout to his name so far here today.
From Alabama, number 8, Matt Cassetti.
So 3 times today that David Smith's been able to get on base. As again, Gassetti comes up to bat. Trying to follow up with his 2nd hit of the day, perhaps. Had a single again back in the 2nd inning. He's got a man on first right now. David Smith, this is similar to what happened back in the 2nd inning. Smith was able to get on with a walk before Gassetti, and then Gassetti singled. So see if history repeats itself. It's a 1-0 count here to Gassetti. The first pitch misses at about 81 miles an hour.
Big spot here. Did have his 2nd hit of the season, but needs to find a way to build on that. Multi-hit game here would be sweet.
Runner goes for 2nd, throw down to the bag. Not in time. David Smith able to snag a base. That's his 2nd of the season. And he's now in scoring position for Matt Cassetti.
So here you go, Mac. You're still without that RBI. You went down swinging with runners in scoring position last time. A chance for redemption. Can be water under the bridge with a nice little poke here.
Here's a 2-0. That's going to miss outside, and it's now 3-0. You'll also take a walk from him if you can get it. Any way you can get him on base. Extend the inning, make McLaughlin sweat a bit more perhaps if you're Harwich. Try to apply some pressure here, as you weren't really able to against Bosma. As that one's going to be in for a strike, 89 miles an hour. Tyler Bosma, despite giving up the home run, really did not look rattled in many instances. Even when runners were able to get on base, he was solid, cool, collected, calm. Here's the 3-1. That'll miss down low, ball 4. That will put Matt Cassetti onto first base. Back-to-back walks issued here by McLaughlin after he was able to retire the first 2 batters. And Cole Harding comes up to bat now. Harding 0 for 2 on the day. Struck out looking back in the second inning. Grounded out to second back in the third. And this is going to force a conversation on the mound. Mike Roberts going to come out, have a discussion with his righty. And that's actually going to be the day for McLaughlin. So after recording the first 2 outs, but then walking the 2 subsequent batters, Mike Roberts has seen enough. We'll be back with more Harwich Mariners baseball in a minute. You're watching the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back into White House Field. We are back after the pitching change. Ben Johnson now on the mound for the Kettleers. It was a very short day for Mark McLaughlin. Pitched just 2/3 of an inning. Didn't allow any hits at that, but he did walk back-to-back batters after getting the first two to go down. And so Mike Roberts has opted to go with Ben Johnson. Johnson on the season for Cotuit. This is his third appearance out of Georgia Southern. 3 innings pitched. He's allowed 3 hits, 3 walks, and has only struck out 1. A whip sitting at 2 flat as Cole Harding gets underneath this one, pulls it foul in the count, evens out at 1-1.
Big spot for Cole. He's had a few clutch hits in the late innings of games this season. He's been able to extend rallies, do his role, move runners over. Now a big spot here. Struggling team, they've lost 4 straight. He would represent the lead run, tying run at first. Find a way to get that ball in a home somewhere in the outfield.
That one's going to miss down low, and it's now 2-1. Harding batting .250 whenever he's got runners on base. And it's 3 for 12. Does have an RBI. Trying to add on to that perhaps here. Run would go a long way for the Mariners. Down by 2 right now. Trying to put together a comeback effort against these Cavaliers who have just been so excellent so far this season. They stand atop the West. 2-1 pitch is spoiled off. It's now 2-2 with 2 away. And Ben Johnson a pitch away from getting out of the inning.
And you mentioned Harding hitting .250 with runners on base, but he's hitting .150 on the season, so about a 100-point difference between those two numbers. Loves to get right hits at the right time.
Harding stares in. As Ben Johnson stares at home, looks back at second, and delivers. That's going to be popped up right side of the infield. Brooks Baldwin shading over, makes the catch, ends the inning. We head to the top of the 7th. Mariners still down by 2. Haven't scored since the bottom of the 4th. We'll be back on the other side. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back inside the broadcast booth here at White House Field for play-by-play duties for the next 3 innings. My broadcast partner, Devin Dobek. Devin.
Thank you, Tim. Tommy Troy, the second baseman. Tim, some visitors here. 0-1 the count. Now 0-2 to Troy. Zane Probst back out there his 3rd inning. He's allowed 2 hits, 2 runs, both unearned though, and walked 1. 0-2 pitch misses. and it's 1-2.
Always great to have family on the Cape, Devin.
Down the Cape. Is that we might have to have another poll question. On the Cape or down the Cape?
Depends on where you are.
Fair, fair. 2 balls, 2 strikes. But yeah, a bunch of fans up here in the press box, Tim.
Back to your question though about whether it's on the Cape, down the Cape. I had a friend who lived in Florida.
As this is popped up, right under it is Stokely. He'll get out of the, or yes, it will go to him. And he's got that for out number 1.
I had a friend who lived in Florida.
Now batting for the
And
Cavaliers, the
he
right fielder
was from
Stanford,
Massachusetts
number 22,
originally,
Eddie
went to
Park.
high school with him, moved down to Florida for college. And whenever he would come back up to visit Massachusetts, he would always say, "Oh, I'll be down in about a week."
Yeah.
He's in Florida, traveling north.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to be down. Every time, without hesitation, I corrected him. I didn't know what he was talking about. I don't know if he was planning on going around Antarctica, perhaps. But unbelievable.
No, yeah, it's definitely a directional thing, but I think expression-wise, there's definitely a debate to be had. I've heard strong arguments for both sides.
So long as you don't say in the Cape.
Yeah, no.
That's the only thing that matters.
Yeah, no. People are not fans of that. Well, the Mariners are down 4-2. 1 away here for Eddie Park. Count is 2-1 to him. He flips this one foul. Going over is Graham Pauly, and he puts it away with a hand on the fence in foul territory. A gift of a second out for Zane Probst, and he is rolling here in the 7th.
Now
Yeah,
batting
you
for the
take it if
Cavaliers,
you're
the
Harwich.
first
You got a
baseman
chance
from
to get a guy to go
Wilmington,
down. That's
number 11,
just
Brooks
barely
Baldwin.
playable. I mean, you never give up on a play like that. Harwich was calling out to him, making sure that Graham knew he had enough time to get over there and make the catch, and so he did. Excellent communication on that to make sure that he did not, A, hurt himself, and B, drop a chance to record a huge out as we're in the later portion of this ball game.
So, that brings up the ever so feared Brooks Baldwin. He's just 1 for 3 on the night, not a booming night. But that single came back in the first inning. Since then, he's flied out to center and flied out to left. Probst up 0-1 on him. And a lot of smoke from the grill infiltrating out in left field, making a hazy sort of vibe. They got the grill kind of out to the left, so you get a ticket from the concession stand and then walk over and get your burger there. And it looks like now all this smoke is Chris Newell is just getting smoked out in left field.
Akin to the Chatham fog is the Harwich grill smoke.
There you go. 0-2 pitch. Upstairs, 1-2. 94 on that one from Probst.
Yeah, a chance here for Probst to have himself a nice little inning, get the side to be retired here in order, if he can pull it off.
And foul tipped into the catcher's mitt. Gassetti hangs on, and it's a 1-2-3 7th for Zane
All right,
Probst.
fans, we
5
just
straight
follow
have been
us on the
retired
stand
by
up
him.
and
We'll take a
stretch.
quick break.
Everybody
Time to stretch here at
and
White
say,
House.
"Take me
We'll
out
be
to
right
the
back
ball
on the Harwich
game."
Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back. The night is over for Ben Johnson. He goes just the third inning, just a third inning rather. Gets the job done out of the jam. And now call to the bullpen will be Jackson Kelly from Marietta, Georgia. Goes to Mercer. 5th appearance this year. He's 2-0. He's got a save as well. 14 innings pitched. He's allowed 8 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 23 strikeouts, a .64 ERA and a .64 WHIP. Opponents hit .167 against him. He is lights out, submarine style too.
Yeah, they finally got it deep enough to be able to hand it off to him, and he's able to eat up a good amount of innings whenever he comes in, averaging more than 3 innings per outing. And so with him on now, he's going to have a chance to do some damage here for Cotuit. Try to keep Harwich limited.
Press Kavanaugh leading things off. He's up in the count 2-1. And yeah, we really honed in on it a little bit, but submarine style delivery, sidearm as Kavanaugh dumps it into shallow left. Coming in strong is Cole, and he makes a diving catch in foul territory for out number 1. Selling out the body to get the out for his pitcher. Beautiful play. Even the Mariners bullpen laughs. They know it. And there's one down.
Yeah, as a pitcher, you always have to appreciate that whenever a guy is willing to lay it out on the line. And so the tip of the cap certainly going from Kelly out to Cole and left.
So, Chris Newell climbs in. 2 for 3 on the day. He's got a double and a homer. He's also popped out to third. 1 away for him as first pitch just misses outside. Couldn't be handled by Mickness. Ball 1. Newell trying to get on. Mariners trail by 2. They are without a hit since the 4th inning, which was a leadoff, or excuse me, back-to-back hits by Graham Pauley and David Smith. But since then, they've had nothing doing. They've been held to just the 5 hits on the day, 6 for Cotuit. Count is 1-1 to Chris Newell. And he lines this one into left field, but foul, just about 8 feet to the left of the line down in left field. And 1-2.
Yeah, Harwich really trying to find some space down that left field line right now. Newell tried to go opposite field, and then Kavanaugh pushed one out to left as well.
So, count is a ball and 2 strikes to Newell. And there it is. Runs inside, and it makes it 2-2.
Yeah, that one came all the way across. Rainbowed in at 72 miles an hour.
Yeah, Kelly's going to bring it. That save he has was 4 complete innings he finished. That one goes up and gets by the catcher, and Mickness loads the count full now with 1 out.
Yeah, these past 2 pitches, those did not look like great pitches out of the hand of Kelly.
He's going to bring it. 1.35 ERA for Mercer, 7-0 record, 6 saves, 60 innings pitched, just 9 earned runs, 82 strikeouts. That one runs inside, though, and he walks Chris Newell here with 1 out.
Yeah, that one coming in at 69 miles an hour. He tried to go with that same pitch, 3 straight pitches, seeing if he can't catch the inside part of the plate. That, to me, looked like what would have been his put-away pitch there, but he just could not clip that outside, or that inside rather, part of the plate. And so he's able to put Newell on base despite being ahead in the count, 1-2 at one point.
No real action in the Cotuit pen other than a little stretching. As this is lined through the gap for a base hit. How about that? Nick Goodwin clocks in. Nice bullet to right field. First hit since the 4th inning. And that brings up the lead run in Joe Vetrano.
And good for Goodwin to get back in the hit column. Held hitless yesterday with 2 strikeouts against Hyannis. He has gotten on base once today, but doing a nice job there to move along Chris Newell. And now setting up Joe Vetrano, who has been set up a few times here tonight, or just the one time, I should say, back in the first. But that was the biggest problem yesterday in Hyannis for him, is that he went 3 3 for 4 Vetrano as he fouls off the first pitch. It's 0-1. But all 3 hits he had, 2 of them were to lead off innings. In the third one, there were already 2 outs in the inning with nobody on. So he has just not been set up recently by Harwich.
No, it's definitely been kind of black and white. It's not all come together yet, but a chance to right now for Vetrano. Lefty on righty matchup. Boston College man had 13 homers for them last season, as that one runs inside to even up the count. One away here in the bottom of the 7th. Hunter Stokely awaits on deck, another lefty. Jackson Kelly in a bit of a jam. Again, a .64 whip on the season. You got 2 runners on your first inning of work. Not something you typically expect, especially from him, rather.
Yeah, certainly. So if you're Harwich, this is a gift right here. You don't know if he's going to have another inning like this. You want to capitalize with only 1 gone and 2 on.
1-1 pitch coming. Runs inside again. Tim, you just spoke on it. He's had trouble locating it. There it is again, 71 miles an hour inside.
That same pitch, that slider's just not working for him whatsoever.
So hitters count for Joe Vetrano. He's 0 for 3, grounded out to the pitcher, flied out to both left and right. Can alleviate all that now with 1 swing of the bat. The pitch. That one in there. Looked to be at the top of the zone. Vetrano doesn't like it. He winces, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, got to get defensive here if you're Vetrano. We'll see if Kelly tries to go back to that inside slider. He's been trying to get to work, still looking for his first strikeout. A high strikeout guy, you know he wants it.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 on. Time is granted by Merzel behind the plate. So here we go. Into his set is Kelly. And the 2-2 pitch. Ground ball off the glove of Karros. And everybody is going to be safe. They are all loaded up. A blunder for Karros. That will be the 4th error of the ball game on the Cotuit Cavaliers. Very uncharacteristic for them. You may remember they had multiple errors against the Mariners back in Game 1. They've really struggled to play defense. They're all loaded up for Stokely.
Yeah, and, you know, for Harwich, what you hate to have to rely on as a ball club is the opposing team committing errors. Harwich 3-1 when their opponents make 2 or more errors in a ball game. So that's half of their wins right there, coming when the opponent is sort of just giving them chances.
And Stokely pops that one up into shallow right field. Back out to get it is Troy, and he's got it. That is a tough blow for the Mariners. Can't move anyone. Now 2 down and the bases loaded.
I mean, you still take it. You're still happy with the fact that the inning's alive here, because it very well could have been over were it not for the error committed over at third base by Kyle Karros.
3 errors that were issued back in Game 1, and now 4 today. So 7 that Cotuit has given the Mariners over the course of those 2. As fought off by Graham Pauley. What a story this would be. A guy playing his former team, 2 outs, late innings. He's got the bases all loaded up and a chance to do damage. Hit him where it really hurts. Let them know what they passed up on.
Pauley in these spots, though, with Cotuit, batting under 100. It was 1 for 11. 1 RBI.
0-1 runs up high, make it 1-1.
That's runners in scoring position, by the way, the split there for Pauley.
He's seen Kelly pitch 1,000,000 times. And by 1,000,000, I, of course, mean 4. So we'll see what he could do here. Count is 1-1 as Kelly steps off. He'll recuperate. Pauley waggles the bat in the left-hand side of the batter's box. Brings it up in front of him and calls for time. Kelly in no rush here, neither is Graham Pauley. A war of attrition here. Let's see who wins it. Kelly now into his set. Kicks, fires. That one drops in there off speed at 73 miles an hour And now Graham Pauley down to his last strike at 1-2.
Yeah, you cannot let a golden opportunity like this slip if you're Harwich. It'd be devastating. We've seen it happen a couple times in games recently where they've left runners on in key spots and it's come back to bite them.
1-2, misses up high, brought it all the way back up to 90. How about that for a pitch sequence? Tough to expect if you're Pauley. Really screws up your timing, let alone the delivery and windup. He's got to be a tough guy to hit for those reasons. So versatile. 2-2. Pauley grounds it up the middle. It is going to be dropped. Here comes another run to the plate, and he's in. Nick Goodwin comes in on the bobble over there at shortstop. I think it was Ryan Ritter who bottled it. One run was in. Everybody else was safe. Nick Goodwin heads up base running, flies around third base, slides in, and we're all knotted up at 4, Tim.
Yeah, you take advantage of these opportunities when you get them. That was a ball that was just touched back up the middle, and it was played a bit errantly over by the second base bag by Cotuit, and Nick Goodwin, I mean, he knows how to capitalize on an opportunity when he gets it, so he saw a window to go home, and he did just that. A huge spot in which the Mariners have now tied this game 4-4 late in the game.
And now that'll bring up David Smith in a multi-hit game for Graham Pauley. He gets 2 runs in there. What a night for him, as his old team is welcomed into his new house. He hits him where it hurts. That's got to feel great. No balls and a strike to David Smith. And the pitch in there for a strike, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, I mean, just situational hitting. It feels like it's been so few and far between for the Mariners this season. We started off so hot, but have now just been really scrambling to find spots where they're able to connect, and they finally get one here.
That pitch is blocked in the dirt. Nice stop by Mickness. 1-2.
Of course, had that big inning over in Bourne, but that feels like more of a rarity. Hardly ever have we seen an inning like that twice in a game, or really on a regular basis for Harwich.
So we're all even again, thanks to a pair of Cotuit errors in the inning. This one is in there for strike 3. Down goes David Smith, but Graham Pauley drives in 2 with an infield single, and the Mariners draw even once again. We head to the 8th inning here, 4-4. Don't you go anywhere. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back. We are now into the final 6 ounces side in this one. Zane Probst is going to walk back out on that mound. And for him, this will be his 4th inning of work. He's already gone 3 complete. First batter is going to be the cleanup hitter, Carter Trice, and it's 1-1 to him to start things. Carter scored the 3rd run of the ball game for Cotuit after he singled and then came around, thanks to a wild inning with a couple wild pitch, some bad baseball by the Mariners. As Zane Probst blows that one right by him, make it 1-2. Zach Cole and Kyle Karros due up as well in the inning. Cotuit trying to get that lead back. This one grounded softly over to Goodwin. He fields and fires onto first just in time. Close play. Looked like it ate him up a little bit. Didn't hop up in the way he anticipated, but Goodwin able to record the out.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you get it over there somehow, some way, Goodwin, a good arm over there at short, so he was able to really rip that thing over.
So Coach Engler going to head out. Blake Purnell is getting loose in the pen. We'll see if he decides to go to him. He's going to talk things over, and yes, he will. We'll take a quick break. Blake Purnell, the Florida Gator, strolling in from the bullpen. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. So the night is over for Zane Probst. He goes 3 1/3, allows 2 hits, 2 runs that were unearned, walks a man and strikes out a man. Did his job, got it done, and now it'll be on to Blake Purnell from Florida. This will be his 3rd appearance. He's got a 4.90 ERA for the team. 3 2/3 innings. He's struck out 1, walked 2, and allowed 5 hits. He's behind in the count 1-0 to Zach Cole. Purnell had a 2.86 ERA for Florida this past season across 36 appearances. Also struck out 39 over 50 1/3 innings to just 15 walks. Count is even up at 1 to Zach Cole, who was 1 for 3 on the day. He had a double in which he came around to score the 4th run of the ball game for Cotuit back in the 6th. That was the pass ball that got by Gassetti, and one of the reasons we remained tied. Of course, you can argue that 4 times for Cotuit, because they have 4 errors. That one misses outside, 2-1. $2,177 people showing out to White House tonight. Just another great atmosphere after 24-27 last home game. Now it's 300 less. Not bad, all things considered.
Yeah.
On a more overcast night at that.
Yeah, I know, and the weekend's just getting started. Mariners will have about 3 out of the 4 games this 4th of July weekend at home. What a treat for this organization and these fans.
2-2 is grounded over to David Smith. A worm burner there. He fires on to first. That's out number 2. 2 up, 2 down for Blake Purnell.
Right, he's able to come in, force some contact over to second. Easy play for Smith. But yes, of course, coming up as Kyle Karros comes in. On the 3rd and 4th of July, the Cape Cod Baseball League every year has a home-and-home doubleheader for teams that are within a close proximity to one another. It'll be Chatham and Orleans, Harwich and Brewster, YD and Hyannis. You will then have, I believe, Cotuit and Falmouth, and then Bourne and Wareham facing off in your 4th of July doubleheaders across the Cape. Mariners are going to be on the road at Brewster on Sunday. That's the 3rd. That's going to be a 5 o'clock first pitch, and then on Monday it's going to be a 5:30 first pitch here from, or pardon, 6:30 from White House Field.
1-1 now to Kyle Karros, and for those of you at home that can't see Tim, did not look at his computer for any of those matchups, just for the time. So just all off the brain from experience. Seasoned veteran. Ball and a strike, and here it is. That one in there, and wow, Blake Purnell, every time he finds the zone, gets quite the yell. I don't know who it is, but we have not heard this kind of applause from anyone else that was pitching between Sullivan and Probst. 1-2. Karros 0 for 2 on the day. He does have a walk. The pitch. On the inside corner, ring him up. Jeff Merzel. Punch out for Blake Purnell looking. 1-2-3 8th, and the Mariners now coming up for their turn, trying to take the lead. We'll be right back. You are watching the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Bottom of the 8th inning, it'll be 8-9-1 for the Harwich Mariners. Just about where you want to be looking forward in the lineup. You're going to definitely get those heart of the order guys up at some point, unless the 8th inning proves to be a good one. 0-1 to Matt Gassetti. He's had a decent day. 1 for 2, singled, struck out, and also a walk. So reached base twice. Both times have been important as well.
Yeah, so I mean for him, starting to get into a bit of a rhythm.
Jackson Kelly back out there on the mound, trying to have a better inning than his inaugural here at White House.
Yeah, he had a busy 7th inning. A lot of walk and 2 hits in that inning.
As this one is ripped down, and it will be diving and caught. What a play by Victor Scott the second. Ranging in, loses the lid, hauls it in. A nice catch for out number 1. Matt Gussetti is robbed.
Harwich Mariners, the center fielder
Second
from
time that we've
Cincinnati,
seen one of
number
these
10,
Cotuit outfielders really lay it on the line here for Kelly late in the game. Cotuit trying to keep this one at least deadlocked for now. And so they are really going all out defensively here.
So, Mariners have to move on despite the bad break there. Cole Harding now will watch his strike 1. He's 0 for 3 on the day. Struck out, grounded out to second, popped out to first. He'd like to get on for the top of his order and chops this one foul. He's quickly in the hole. Lot of game left. This last inning and 2/3 is going to feel like a marathon. 0-2. This is flipped foul to the right past Coach Sullivan at first, and it'll be 0-2 once again.
And then, of course, something to keep in mind is that this season, no extra innings. Not something that we've actually run into yet with the Mariners. They are one of 2 teams in the Cape Cod Baseball League yet to tie a game.
1-2, that one misses outside, and some other things you can look at, Tim. Mariners have never won a game when trailing after 7. They were able to knot it up in the 7th, and then they've never won a game when the other opponent has scored 3 or more runs. Here we stand, 4-4. A tie does not count as a win to change that stat, but
It would still feel good to, put up a good fight late in the game and show that you are able to go tit for tat with another team in regards to run scoring.
tit for tat, and with the best team in the league, for that matter, as Cole Harding is going to be rung up on the outside corner. He doesn't like the call, but goes down looking for the second time today. He's 0 for 4, a long one for him.
Number 7.
Brings up Press Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
Press on the day, 0 for 4. He's grounded out to second, grounded out to first twice, and flied out to left. He's hitting just 133 coming into today. That number has plummeted down to 105. Count 1-0 now to him. Chris Newell on deck. He's been hot. And the pitch. This is chopped down the third baseline, a fair ball. Press Kavanaugh checks in as he chops one down the line, just out of the grasp of Kyle Karros. And there's now a runner on first with with 2 away.
And you have to hope that perhaps here for Harwich, maybe you can get some 2-out offense going. It was the 6th inning when Mark McLaughlin first came in that he was able to retire the first 2 batters, but then you were able to draw back-to-back walks and run him out of the game. Ben Johnson came in and cleaned it up, but Harwich has proven so far tonight that with 2 outs, they can have some discipline and they can put something together.
That one in there for a strike, and we've seen this scenario before, Tim. Wouldn't hurt to maybe think about sending Kavanaugh, because worst case scenario, he gets thrown out and you got 2, 3, 4 due up in the 9th. Best case scenario, he's in scoring position with 2 outs for one of your hottest hitters. 0-1. As this is way under it and lifted out to right field. Eddie Park is under it, and he's got it. That will be the 8th inning. We head to the final frame. All knotted up at 4. Don't go anywhere. Tension is rising here at White House. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
17, Victor Scott.
So, Blake Purnell sets out to face 7, 8, 9. Definitely what you'd like to face on paper if you're Harwich. 8 straight have gone down in order for the Cotuit Kettleers. But Ryan Ritter, who's on deck, has had a pretty decent day. Other than that, he's already homered and doubled. Victor Scott has walked and scored, and walked, stolen a base, and been stranded at third, in addition to flying out to right. So 0 for 1 for him on the day. Also just made a really great play in center field to take a hit away from Matt Gussetti that might have changed the course of the game, because Press Kavanaugh had a base hit, and then you're bringing up your 3-hitter Nick Goodwin, who's hot with a chance and 2 outs. 1-1, just misses the outside corner. 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the way the order shakes out, and so instead Goodwin will lead it off. He'll also have Vetrano and Stokely following him thereafter. Still a good part of the lineup, certainly, to be having up if you're Harwich.
As broken bat is flipped in a shallow center field. Going out is Smith. Coming in is Harding. It is not going to be a catch. It lands in the glove and out. Harding thought he had it. Comes up empty. It's going to be a bloop single for Victor Scott. He's on base the 3rd time today out of that 7th spot with no one out.
Oh, it looked like Harding had that thing all, perhaps not all the way, but as soon as he was laying out for it, it looked for a moment that he had it trapped in his glove, but then a second later he gets up, you see it's on the ground. Devastating, potentially. Of course, no runs have come across yet here for Cotuit, but even still, that first out would have been critical here to tie game in the top of the 9th inning.
Yeah, a lot of ground to cover for him. He's playing deep. He doesn't want anything over his head for extra bases. And it hurts him there. There goes the runner. And Scott, the throw down, a little high, but they're going to say it was in time. Looked like Scott might have got under it, but they will rule him out. That is going to be a controversial call by Doug Isham, but they will take it if you're Harwich. Better than having a runner in scoring position with nobody out. 1 away.
Yeah, just huge the way that they're able to make the throw down. It did look a little high, but they're able to clean up that runner and settle back into this inning.
1-1 now to Ryan Ritter. He's now got the bases empty. Tough break. Victor Scott. He's already stolen a base and a half thanks to the wild pitch. Doesn't get that one. 1-1. Another broken bat. Slow dribble down the line. It's fielded by Pauly. Fires on a first in time. Graham Pauly with a quick delivery over to first base. 2 outs in the 9th.
Yeah, Graham Pauly, have a game. I mean, defensively, he's been able to do it for Harwich, and of course we've talked about the offense he's provided here tonight. He scored the run that came across in the 4th inning. He was able to drive in the 2 that came across in the 7th, so he has been a huge factor in this game against his old squad.
Yeah, he's had a sensational night, to say the least, as this brings in Mickness for his first at-bat of the day after coming in for Pearson, who pinch hit for Loma Vida. 0-1 the count. 2 down here in the 9th. Harwich trying to keep that door shut and then bring some offense of their own. Bounced in the dirt that time by Purnell. 1-1. No action in the Harwich pen. They fully are trusting Purnell to finish this last out by himself, despite the top of the order being due up. 1-1 offering coming. And this is popped up in foul territory. Gussetti giving chase as well as Purnell, but it's going to escape into the bleachers, scare a fan or two, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, that thing comes down pretty hard. Lesson I learned in physics, I believe this to be true, is that that ball's going to have the same velocity coming down right when it's at the same level as when it came off the bat of the man who stands in now in Mickness. So that thing was coming in as if it had just come off of a bat. That's a very tough ball to play.
1-2. Purnell trying to end this thing. Outside. A lot of people were excited there, but they got their hopes up, and it's outside 2-2. We need to find the source of these noises. They provide a lot more excitement to every pitch. 2-2. On the outside corner, not going to give it to him. Purnell started to walk, checked his swing. No, he did not, and it's all worked full.
I could start yelling if you'd like some more excitement, Devin.
I mean, we could, but we'll just leave it at we could, period.
The potential is there, but unlikely.
There you go. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away, and the base is empty. Mickness stands in the left side. Purnell's pitch. Outside corner, ring him up! A delayed signal. Mickness thought he had ball 4, and Merzel rings up Mickness to end the top of the 9th. It's now time for the bottom of the 9th. Mariners trying to walk it off, looking for the extra point here at home in front of 2,100 fans. We'll take a quick break and be right back on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Well, bottom of the 9th inning. Harwich looking for some heroics here. 3, 4, 5 due up for the team.
Number 6, Nick.
It'll be Nick Goodwin, Joe Vetrano, and Hunter Stokely. Call to the bullpen. Night is over for Jackson Kelly. He goes 2 innings, allows 3 hits, 2 runs that were unearned, walks a man, and strikes out 2. Batter and Nick Goodwin cuts through that one and misses. It's 0-1.
Yeah, Mariners have a single walk-off win this season. That was back game 1 of the doubleheader against Hyannis almost 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago this Sunday. And Nick Goodwin was the hero then, had a home run. Another one here would do it.
As he chops this one over the shortstop, it's fielded and fired on to first by Ritter for out number 1.
Now batting for your Harwich Mariners, the DH from Boston College.
So Joe Vetrano
30,
with
Joe
1 away
Vetrano.
climbs in. TJ Brock, the new pitcher. Apologies for not getting that to you sooner. From Cincinnati, Ohio, goes to Ohio State. He's made 6 appearances, 0-1 on the season. 3 saves, 6 1/3 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 2.84 ERA, and a .79 whip, while opponents hit 130 against him. Cotuit has played Harwich twice. And as one of the winningest teams in the CCBL, they have been unable to defeat one of the losingest teams, for loss of a better expression. First pitch to Vetrano. He breaks his bat, and it's over to second base. Fielded by Tommy Troy. He goes on to first for out number 2. It's very quick 2 outs for TJ Brock.
Yeah, not ideal here if you're Harwich. A couple of easy ground outs to the infield, fielded by Cotuit. So, now Stokely 2 away. He's going to have to extend this thing somehow, some way. Get it to Graham Polly, who, with the kind of night he's had, you want him to be able to come up to bat.
Absolutely, Tim. Stokely on the day. He's 0 for 4. He's grounded out to second, struck out swinging, grounded out to first, and popped out to second. First pitch to him, he goes right through it. 84 right down the middle. 0-1. You hear a pin drop here at the ballpark. Very quiet. And the next pitch, Stokely grounds it softly over to second. It's fielded by Troy and on to first. And the Mariners have their first draw of the season. They take a point from Cotuit, but that's where we stand. 4-4 the final. A tie here from White House. TJ Brock gets the job done. They go down quietly, 1, 2, 3. We'll take a quick break and bring you the Harwich Mariners postgame show when we are back on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
The final score of 4.
Welcome into the Harwich Mariners postgame show. Devin Dobeck, Tim Foley here. Mariners tie this one 4-4 for the Kettleers. 4 runs on 7 hits, and they commit 4 errors. Mariners 4 runs on 8 hits, and they commit no errors. Well, it was a game that came all the way down to the wire. Harwich tied it back up in the 7th. Graham Pauly had a great game, and there was good pitching on both ends, along with a lot of sloppy defense. But, Tim, your takeaways from tonight?
Well, you know, the fact that late in the ball game you were able to find a way to put up runs when you've struggled to do so late in the game. I mean, Harwich had not lost the game when trailing after the 7th inning, and I mean, they were able to at least tie it up heading into the 8th. So impressive that the Mariners were able to put together some late offense and keep this one. Be able to get a point at least, snap this losing streak, still on a winless streak, you could say, but against a team in Cotuit, with the kind of past couple of games you've had, you know, with the way that your offense was able to come throughout when you needed it, you'll take it.
Yeah, I think you said it perfect. In summary, when you're playing Cotuit, the best team in the league twice, the fact that you can steal 3 points out of 4 from them is something that you will take.
You know, one of the most important things to keep in mind, however, is that Harwich is really going to have to start ramping it up their next couple of games. Their next 6 games are going to be against Eastern Division opponents. You're going to be facing off against Chatham twice, against Brewster twice, and against, I believe, YD twice. And so you really are not going to be granted all that much wiggle room in regards to the standings. You have to be able to pick up wins, maintain standing, especially against a Chatham team that's going to come into town tomorrow, weather permitting. and is going to be looking to take away 2 points from you.
Yep, should be a good one. As you mentioned, Tim, weather permitting. It could be a rainy day tomorrow, but that one's scheduled for 5:30 right here at White House Field. And I think another thing that you definitely have to look back on is the absence of Tommy Seidel and Kenny Lavari not in the ball game, and they still kept it pretty close. You got to like how the team stepped up in the absence of 2 of their best offensive players. But that being said, we will leave you to it until tomorrow. Final score one more time is the Mariners 4, the Kettleers 4. Thank you for joining us so much on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. On behalf of the media team, Tim Foley and myself, Devin Dobek, always remember to live the dream.